Hey guys, it's Tanner with Built Not Bought. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm making a buffet. All right, it's time to get started on this project. It's going to be a tall task for me because I'm not really familiar or experienced with building cabinetry, but here's a big stack of beautiful black walnut, and here is my beautiful SketchUp of what I plan on building. And to start things off, as always, we're going to mill down all this walnut so that it's nice and square, flat, the same thickness, and ready to be glued up. I sure wish I had a longer jointer in-feed out-feed table for stuff like this. Once everything's milled up and ready to go, I'm going to glue it all together. I added a few dominoes for alignment and strength. This is going to be the top of this cabinet. I like using my bench vices to do smaller glue ups like this. I lock in the bottom panel and then I just build my way up. This doesn't work if you're going to do larger panels like tabletops, however, but for the smaller stuff, it works great.
All right, so off camera, I've been doing a lot of layout lines and punching dominoes. This takes a long time if you want to do it right. This is the top upside down. There's going to be a slight overhang on the sides and on the front, but on the back it's going to be flush. This is the bottom of it. I've already pre-glued the sidewalls there. I'm debating on pre-gluing these panels to here on its own and then taking this and setting it on there. Then I'm only worrying about one side of a glue up versus two. I'll have to think on that a little bit.
I'm just making a relatively simple panel here for the cabinet doors. I need to make 4 of these, and I got some highly figured walnut from my somewhat local hardwood dealer, Valley Hardwoods in Dilworth, Minnesota. It's a great company with great products. I just add 1 domino to these panels to make it a little bit easier to glue all these up, and I pretty much used all the clamps in my shop to get all 4 of these taken care of.
All right, getting a little frustrated working on the doors for that, so I'm gonna switch gears and kind of clear my head a little bit and work on the base. Relatively simple design, 2.5 inches wide, and it's 7 feet long, which will leave 6 inches of overhang on each side because I want the cabinet to stick out past the legs a little bit. I've got a 15-degree bevel here, and these are all just gonna be like little stretchers, support stretchers that run across the middle that go this way. So I'm gonna quickly glue this up off camera, and then we're gonna work on the actual legs for the base. I went with 4.5 inch wide legs, cut at 15 degrees, that match up with the miter on the side. So when you go and domino this in, you got a nice, consistent flat angle there. It looks really sharp.
Since my base spans 7 feet long, I needed to add some sort of a support in the center of it. So I just made this simple peg and added some contours to it to give it a little bit of character, and I think it's going to look and work great. And here's a look of all the doors installed into the cabinet. I've really been struggling with this step of the process. Cabinetry is a weak point for me. I don't know why I have such a difficult time getting doors and drawers to line up perfectly and to fit just right, but I've been struggling a lot on this one. They are all installed. These are those Bloom soft close hinges, so everything closes nice and smooth. I do need to work on the fitment a little bit.
I'm gonna have to do something to these doors to keep them from warping over time. So I think I'm gonna dovetail a strip of wood across the middle of them and just have a permanent stabilizer in there, because one of these doors did have a little bit of a curve happening to it already, and it's this one right here.
I'm really liking working with these Bloom hinges. They allow you to adjust your doors in or out and up and down to fine tune everything to fit just right. So if you're off a little bit, you can make it right with the hinge. I've been wanting to test out some integrated handles, and this is going to be the project that I get to test those out. I convinced the client to let me take this idea and run with it. So I ordered this router bit. I'm not even sure what it's called, but it just creates this little finger pull integrated into the doors and drawers. A little bit of fine tuning with the sander, and they're ready to go.
All right, I'm attaching the drawer fronts here, and I figured I better show you my method. It works fairly well for me, but keep in mind, I'm not a cabinet maker. This is the second cabinet project, well, third, I guess. And it doesn't get easier for me. I need to put a lot more time and emphasis on making basic cabinetry. But anyways, here we go. First thing, I picked up these spacer blocks on Amazon during Prime days. Super glad I picked them up. They were super cheap and they work great for this. So I have a 5/32 over here, and I stacked up some other ones over there. And then I take a clamp on both sides, clamp to the back of the drawer, pull this out, put 2 screws in. I think I'm gonna do 3 in these because they're slightly larger. Probably 1 on the lower bottom corners and 1 up above there. Also, I'm notoriously bad at math, especially fractions, so I'm glad I was filming that because I just had to swap out the 2 blocks over here, and now I think we're ready to rock. So we've got 3/32 plus a 16th, which would be 2/32 for 5/32, and 5/32 over here.
My client wanted a shelf in each of these cabinets, so I made a simple jig with some plywood. I just pre-drilled some guide holes, and then I put this into the cabinet frame itself and used those to punch in some shelf pins. The second little jig I made out of some plywood was to install these small little earth magnets. I wanted these doors to close and actually hold themselves shut to the frame of the cabinet, so I ordered some of these pins or magnets on Amazon. I used this jig that I made to line up where those magnets were going to go, and I got a 1/4" Forstner bit. I used that to pre-drill the holes, and then I used some Starbond CA glue to permanently hold those magnets in place. And that pretty much wraps up this project. Lately, I've been using 2 coats of Rubio Monocoat and sanding with 220 grit in between each application. It just gives a little bit smoother and a little bit more of a sheen in the finish that I'm really liking. Rubio Monocoat Pure is my preference for pretty much all my walnut projects. It's a match made in heaven. And then here I'm just putting everything together, and it's so satisfying to see the soft close hinges work the way they're supposed to and see another project completed. If you think I've earned it, please like and subscribe. This was such a challenging build for me, but like my friend over at Hidden Scripture Design says, building difficult projects like this are what build us as custom furniture makers, and I like to challenge myself and get better with every project, and this one definitely put me through the ringer on that one. But thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next build.